Hello everyone, Bashar here. So finally, with almost a day left on the patch, we have finally seen the patch notes, and I had just had a quick look through it before shooting this video. And I must admit I'm a little bit annoyed. There are tons of nerfs across the board. You know, just caught my eye. There are not really many buffs, so what was the need for such a one-sided action? Right, most of the stuff is rather heavily nerfed, and yeah, this made me a little bit nebulous about my decision about the new character that I want to play in the season. I'm not very sure. Let's delve into the patch notes, and you can also form your own opinions. So let's just go through these fast. Dawn of the Hunt League is coming, and so if you want, you can make a character that is, Dawn of the Dawn of the Hunt character, and the Dawn of the Hunt character will be only able to interact with other Dawn of the Hunt characters. I mean, solo self-found probably doesn't really matter, right? Because can't trade, but standard and hardcore would be only be able to trade with their respective leagues. So Dawn of the Hunt Standard will be able to trade with Dawn of the Hunt Standard, and Dawn of the Hunt Hardcore will be able to trade with Dawn of the Hardcore, and so on. Right, Standard will be able to trade within themselves, and Standard Hardcore the same. So let's go over these. These are we know about this, right? We the reveal stream had information about these. A new class is coming. The new class will have two ascendancy classes, warrior and mercenary, and witch are getting another, which leads me to believe we will have a total of three ascendancy classes for each class. Maybe some more. I'll just turn these on. There is a little bit of a background noise. I want to suppress it. So we are also getting about 100 support gems. There is a new weapon and shield type, spears and bucklers, more than 100 uniques, new 8 endgame new maps, 4 unique strongboxes. There are the rogue exiles. We have gone over these. Asmerian wisp. These are. I thought these would be the seasonal mechanic, but they are going to be present in standard as well. So you will find a wisp somewhere. When you chase the wisp, it will run from you, and every single monster that it touches gets empowered in a way. There are different kinds of wisps. There's cat, there's bear, there's sacred, and they upgrade each monster they touch in a different way. And if you are able to keep up with it, it's gonna give you some rewards at the end. If it gets too far away, you get nothing. New socketable items are there. We have Twilight Reliquary Key. So I haven't been able to use this Reliquary Vault at all in 0.1. Now we probably will. And it's gonna drop a special foil version of a unique item selected by our supporters. Yeah, interesting thing. And 453 options are available. We can now corrupt essences with Valve, so while you can use it in the map on the screen, right? And we have gone over these in our video. Okay, some improvements and game changes. Let's take a look at these areas of corruption. Right, we had that. We saw that. So there will be a corrupted nexus. Right, you could either go beeline towards the nexus and cleanse the corruption, and you can create fractured areas, or you can just cleanse the corrupted maps one by one and do the nexus at the end. The nexus will be the mechanic that gives us points now, instead of doing random tier 1 maps for atlas points. You will be getting atlas points from cleansing the nexus. Yeah. A boss will be appearing in the Corrupted Nexus. Additional corruption monster factions have been introduced. Yeah, we had those guys, those alien looking guys. Now we will have more. Okay, corruption. So if you recall, guys, in the Atlas, corruption was very similar to Irradiated, right? Irradiated was +1 map level, and corruption was +1 map level, and the monsters will spawn. So they changed that. Now it doesn't give +1 level to the map, but it will have its own special modifiers. Yeah. So when you cleanse the Nexus, the corrupted maps that are linked to it, to the Nexus, will become cleansed maps, and they will drop other stuff. I read this somewhere. I think the fractured maps masters, the cleansed masters will not be dropping gear, but they will be dropping tablets and waystones more frequently, or something like that. We will have a new currency there called a fracturing orb. A fracturing orb can be used on a minimum of 4 modifier rare item, so you can't do it on a 2 or 3 modifier rare item, or maybe even 1 modifier. It locks down one of the abilities at random, and no chaos orb or orb of annulment will be able to remove it, right? That can be pretty useful. So that's only going to drop from these class maps. Okay, in order to open a Corrupted Nexus map, you will have to have 4 modifiers at minimum in the waystone. Okay, we have gone over these. You can respawn in the maps and go in there. The number of modifiers on your map is inversely proportional to the number of respawns that you have. The more modifiers on the map, the fewer respawn attempts that you will have, going down to 1 on a 6 modifier map. So that's going to function as we are used to, right? But with one minor difference, the portal doesn't get consumed with you leaving and entering the map, and therefore you can go into the map many times. Let's say you find the 10 breach map, right, which will drop tons of loot, right, and you get full on loot, but you can't leave anymore because you don't have any portals. That's at an end, right? You can just leave and enter as many times as you like, but of course, leaving the map more than 6 times is not very advised, right? It's gonna be very slow. Yeah, but anyway, so yeah, this is something that's gonna hurt weaker characters earlier season. So guys, you might have noticed that sometimes the boss is too challenging and you have to leave the fight, right, in order to avoid death, and you come back in and the boss wouldn't be healed, right? I think they changed that. I had it happen relatively recently. I was fighting a boss on 30% or so. I had to leave the map. I went back in, the guy was on 30% HP and I killed him, right? There is something here in the form of groups, so maybe it still works the same way as solo, but it says once you start a boss fight, the respawning system will change to record the map owner to collectively respawn the entire party. This is so that you must still kill the boss from full life. That's not exactly equal to what I just said, right? I'm talking about single player, engaging the boss, chickening out, going back in. Maybe they will not heal, but it gives me the same vibe. And there is something very nice, guys. If you go for the map boss without doing anything else or without doing too much, right? You enter the boss, you die, then you will be able to respawn, and only the map boss will be present. Everything else will be gone. But you still at least will have a chance of getting the boss kill. That's nice. The number of towers on the Atlas has been reduced drastically, but each one is now more powerful. In the stream, they said it will be reduced by a factor of 3, so we will have thrice as fewer towers. But tablets are going to be much stronger. We have gone over these. If the map that you used in the tower has 6 modifiers, you will have 3 sockets to put sorry put tablets in, and the maps tier will determine a multiplier in which the tablet's power will be amplified. But at tier 15, this bonus is double, so if you use a tier 15 map with 6 modifiers in it, you will be getting double value from your tablets, and also you will be able to do 3 tablets at once, right? So this is not a nerf, it's actually, I think, a buff, because thing is, guys, the tablets will also drop more powerful. I think they said double, so if we go by the old numbers, guys, at all 10 map tablet would be now a 20 map tablet, and tier 15 doubles that further, affecting 40 maps. If that's correct, that's stronger than the old times, because thing is, in the old times we had 3 times more towers, and the most we could get was 10 maps out of it, right? If I have thrice as fewer towers, but I can affect 40 maps, that means more, right? And we can do 3 tablets at once, that's nice. But of course, the Atlas passive that amplifies our map for each tower in range will be, of course, much weaker, because the number of towers is very much less, right? I mean, in the old form, I think in patch 0.1, you could get areas with like maybe even like 8 towers overlapping, very rarely, but you could. Now it's gonna be like 2 or 3 towers overlapping at best. There is that, but yeah. Now tower maps can spawn all the mechanics, because tower contents were very bland. At the release, it was very, very bland, and they now made them a little bit longer, but still they don't have any of the mechanics, and they are generally short. Now they can even have bosses in them. Yeah. Killing rare monsters required for map recognition no longer has a chance to grant monster modifiers to the remaining rare monsters. What? What? Okay, let's move on. Increase the chance for rare monsters to have 3 or 4 modifiers in maps. That means drop more items. Yeah, guys, so the more challenging the monster, the more loot they drop. Oh, so guys, the previous thing that I skipped and couldn't fully understand, this is mostly to compensate for the removal of rare monsters granting their modifiers to other rare monsters on death. There was such a thing. I'm just learning this. So when you kill rare monsters, they pass on some modifiers to other rare monsters that remain behind. That's why the last rare monsters had so many modifiers. Wow, mind blown. And just as I learned it, it's getting removed from the game. But yeah, I guess knowledge. A checkpoint now spawns when the last available optional content in a map has been completed. Okay. Extra content such as Breach the Dream Expedition and Ritual now starts spawning further away from the Ziggurat Refuge. Makes sense. I mean, you have to do the easier maps first. Yeah. Sustaining Waystones will be easier. Waystones cannot drop at a lower tier than the map you are in. I mean, this is very nice. I would have been very much content with like 1 or 2 tiers lower, because guys, doing a tier 15 map and getting a tier 1 map was really frustrating. You're already way past that, right? I mean, anything below like 13 would not be meaningful to you, but now they did that, right? So if you are doing a tier 15 map, you will not be able to get a tier 14 or 13 map or anything that's lower. That's pretty nice. And you know, they had fixed this at some point. Now they are putting it back. Final map bosses will always drop one tier higher. I'm guessing that doesn't go for tier 15 because tier 16 maps are only be obtainable via corruption. So I'm guessing tier 15 will still drop tier 15, but tier 6 will drop tier 7, tier 7 will drop tier 8, etc. Okay. Final natural occurring rare monsters in tier 1 maps have 100% drop area waste. Natural waystone drops have been reduced to compensate. Okay, sure. I mean, guys, they help us sustain. That's good because in the early season, you are somewhat weak, right? You can die in the maps. You can run out of maps. Yeah, it's pretty good. Okay, in the passive tree, they have removed that. Maybe I should not be going one by one. The patch notes are rather long. Okay. Dorian now has up to 10 waystones available to purchase either at tier 1 or 1 tier below your highest completed tier. Wow. So if I have completed tier 15, he's gonna sell me tier 14. Oh, actually, if I have completed tier 16, he's gonna sell me tier 15. Whoa. I'm guessing the gold cost will be crushing, but still pretty good. Overseer tablets now cost 2 to 4 maps in range to contain bosses. So guys, why this nerf? Because keep in mind, so they have been nerfed, right? Unlike the other tablets, because there will be a 100% increased efficiency in the tower, but still this feels very low. So even with 100% efficiency, it will be 4 to 8. I guess. The waystone chance granted by waystone suffix modifiers has been reduced as a result of the new chance to drop waystone. So that's a problem. That's a problem because, guys, we were using those horrible 6 suffix maps to farm citadels. So that reduces our chance of getting 4 tablets from the citadels here. The first 5 unique maps you complete each grant 12 skill points for a total of 10 points. Different unique maps. I have skipped that. Yeah. You saw unique maps. The specialties of some maps have been adjusted to account for the addition of Asmerian spirits. Yeah, we are getting that. Added new modifiers for relating to Asmerian spirits for overseer tablets. And the precursor tablets, the bland ones, will have modifiers related to Asmerian spirits and rogue exiles both. The untainted paradise has been buffed. This was higher, and it was so they said it was incorrectly showing the wrong amount, so it's been buffed to where it was, 200 to 400% increase XP. That makes it pretty valuable. Yeah, you can. I'm also guessing you can invite your friends. Imagine, guys, at the early season, you find one of these, you invite your friends in, you all get tons of XP. Pretty nice, I would say. Okay. So we have a new crafting mechanic called recombination. Yeah, which allows you to fuse 2 items. It will consume a lot of relics, and it will have a chance to fail. There is a buff. Big surprise, right? I am pretty negative, guys. I mean, the reveal stream was looking very nice, and now I'm a little bit annoyed because of the sheer number of nerfs you'll see as we progress, and I think I should pick the pace up a little bit. It's way too long. So Omen tablets have been buffed from 5 to 10%, from 15 to 25%. Omens will all across the board will be buffed. Overseer tablet has been nerfed again. No, it wasn't a very good tablet. I'm not understanding why the nerf happens. Okay, increased rarity is down from 10 to 20 to 10 to 15%. Increased quantity previously. So this is something I don't understand. It was not 3 to 8%. That's a lie. It's 10 to 20%. Right? Quantity of items. I'm absolutely certain, by the way. I'm guessing they are referring to a previous internal patch because it's 10 to 20%. Right? I'm absolutely certain. So they nerfed it from 10 to 20% to 3 to 8%, and now it's 3 to 7%. What is this garbage though? These weren't really very powerful. I mean, I'm guessing they are making up for the 100% increased efficiency that we will be getting from the tower. But thing is, this is even less than half, right? We are not even staying where we were, right? 3 to 7%, double that. That's 6 to 14%. We had 10 to 20%. Heck, gold was buffed. Thank God. Thank you very much. What a useful and important buff. GGG. I'm gonna get more gold now because that was important. Not. Okay, monster density was nerfed as well. So guys, I'm okay with this kind of nerf, right? Because double the efficiency will still keep it where it was, maybe a little bit better. But I mean, what's this? Previously 3K, why lie? It's 10 to 20. I might be making a horrible mistake here, but I'm absolutely certain that's why I'm ripping into them. Okay, the crap modifier has been removed. The crap has been removed. Wow, big deal. Thank you. Arbiter Ash Quest was merged into one. So there are some other important news in the end game content. Some items were exclusive to the max difficulty, right? So everything will drop across all difficulties, but their chance will increase starting from difficulty 0 going up to difficulty 4, instead of not having any access to the item at all. On lower difficulties you will not have it, and difficulties 0 has been halved in HP, and it slowly picks up, and at difficulty 4 it will remain the same. So guys, the little guy has been looked out for. So let's guess difficulty 0 is 50% of its HP, difficulty 1 is like 60, difficulty 2 is 70%, and difficulty 3 is 80%. I'm just making these numbers up, and difficulty 4 is the same way it was. Move the location of the stash in Simulacrum to make it harder to accidentally start the encounter when trying to open the stash. Yeah, I had that a few times. That's funny. Okay. Reduce the power of notables on the league-specific Atlas passive trees for acquiring logbooks, breach splinters, Simulacrum splinters, and audience with the king. Okay. Why are you nerfing us? So weird. Okay, delirium encounters, blah blah blah. Reduce the intensity of fog. I'm hoping that is performance related. I'm hoping that they did something about the visual, because it gives your computer hell. Okay. Yeah. So that's what I meant about the omens. Omens will now always appear as ritual rewards in map area. So guys, if I understood this right, you do the hero ritual, you open the rewards screen, there will always be at least one omen in there, with a chance for 2, right? That's where the tablet comes in, and when you refresh there will be another. So that should increase omen available to buy a lot. We will have like 4 or 5 more new omens coming in also. Yeah, okay, let's not waste time. Atlas passive 3 changes. Okay, so some Azmiri spirits and rogue exiles passives are coming, and keep in mind, now we can have 40 Atlas passive points, the generic ones. It was 30. Some more notables have been added. Something has changed. And of course, we are getting nerfs. Why do we not get nerfs, right? I mean, guys, nothing was plentiful. Nothing was too generous. I don't see the point in, these nerfs. Yeah, so additional breaches has been nerfed. Quantity of breach splinters drops from 75 to 50%. More hands 50% to 30%. Density from 15% to 10%. Yeah, we have one buff. Uh, your favor in maps used to grant you the Atlas 3 ritual passive was granting you 50% increased chance to see omens. Now it's going to grant you 100%. So they are hell-bent on making the omens a little bit more logical. I'm hoping that would also decrease the price of those insanely expensive 40 divine omens. It should. And finally, more master density. That was also nerfed. Yeah. Okay. Device remove, general improvements, strong box can appear. I guess, skip these. The video is gonna go way too long. Okay, now be prepared to get annoyed. Okay, there is some cap, blah blah blah. First, freeze now builds up to roughly 48% slower on enemies. What? I mean, guys, this is just a sentence, but this means, you know, we have to build up double freeze in order to freeze, right? Because it builds 48% slow, right? I build 200% and it's gonna get reduced to 100%. So, you know, if I'm freezing with 100% back then, now I'm having to freeze with like 190% or so. Terrible. Player base ailment threshold is now half of maximum life, previously all of maximum life. That means we are twice as susceptible to all ailments. What? Presence radius has been reduced to 4 meters from 6 meters. Candlemas now gives 5% increased life on cruel difficulty from 8%. What the heck, guys? You know, I'm reading them again and I'm getting annoyed again. Why? What are these? Why are you nerfing? Why are you nerfing? Right? Why am I working double for a freeze? Why am I, you know, much more susceptible to ailments? Why am I, you know, getting less HP from Candlemas? It's not like the game was face roll anyway, right? And maybe for a few builds, but yeah. And by the way, guys, Auto Bomber is just going away. We will get to it soon. Now they have also changed Trial of the Sekima's debuff affliction. It was 25% reduced movement speed at all times. Now it's going to be 30% less movement speed if you've been hit recently. It's of course much less limiting. I'm guessing that's a buff, but I mean it's a Trial of the Sekima's debuff. Yeah, I mean not a big deal. Yeah. So unified stun mechanics for players and monsters. The staggers that players suffer when blocking too much damage is now a heavy stun. So we do not have stagger anymore, I'm guessing. So yeah, light stun and heavy stun, I guess, are official now. I mean, heavy stun was official, but they are referring it to as light stun, which is, you know, as we know, it's stun. Modifiers to curse effect have been changed to apply to curse magnitude. This means they are additive. Okay. Player create objects such as ice crystal no longer have a master power value, and one line below, ice crystals can no longer apply on kill effects such as Herald of Ash and Trample Toes Overkill. You know, that means goodbye Auto Bomber, right? Because Trample Toes Overkill was sending a bolt below, blah blah blah, right? You were doing infinite damage. It's not gonna work anymore. Okay, light stun threshold, blah blah, heavy stun, don't care. Okay, the base. Another nerf. Charge duration was nerfed from 20 seconds to 15 seconds. That's something that to help us, but that's kind of warrior only. When you fully break the armor of a character, they will take 20% increased physical damage on top of having 0 armor. Ancestral boosted slam has about 10% damage up. Yeah, big deal. Big deal. I'm gonna skip those. Surprising strength ascending is not passive. Now provides 50% more damage against heavy stun enemies. Previously 40%. Wow! Such an extremely big and important buff. Whoa. That's 7% damage up against heavy stunned enemies only. I mean, class was, almost unplayable. I mean, that's not gonna bring it up to snuff. Yeah. Anyway, the Earthbreaker. Instead of 20% aftershocks for slam skills, now we have 25%. That's a little bit more noticeable, but I don't think it's gonna bring the class up to, up to the level. Explode corpses. Yeah, I mean, Titan and Warbringer are very much unpopular, so they have been buffed a little. Let's not go over it in full detail. Jamling, the enhanced effectiveness ascending specialist now also grants 20% less attributes. Okay. Attribute stacking, yeah. Deadeye. No. And boom, guys. Temporalis is gonna cost $1 million now. There will be no abuse to get it, and now the run will be, quite challenging. I mean, I would say impossible. For me, it's definitely impossible, but for those daring players out there, it still would be very challenging. Honor lost during the trial of Sigmas is now taken before the Acolyte of Choila's Darkness. So, guys, if you don't know what's going on, the monk's less popular ascendancy, Acolyte of Choila, has a special mechanic called Darkness. It's like a shield, but it was taking damage before everything else, right? It's a small shield, but in Trial of Sigmas, you were able to take damage. So, in case you don't know what I'm talking about, let me remind. There is a very special relic, an extreme rare relic that you can get in Trial of Sigmas. You put it in the Trial tab, and it makes the last boss drop Temporalis. But the drawback is that you have one honor, right? So that means they sneeze in your general direction, it goes away, and it's worth hundreds and hundreds of divines, extremely valuable, because Temporalis is worth very much. And the Acolytes of Choila were able to handle this drawback with Darkness, right? So for example, you put Darkness on, you take 500 damage, and you take 1 damage, normally you die, right? But the Darkness were able to absorb that 500 damage, and you were able to be on your merry way, right? So now that's not gonna work, so Temporalis is gonna mirror level maybe? I'm not very sure. It's gonna be very, very much expensive. Invoker has been nerfed. Blood Mage something. Infernal, some stuff has been done. Yeah. I mean, these nerfs get on my nerves so much. These are not even very... so guys, very, very important nerf right here. Especially concerns the AFK Simulacrum Farmer. Now the Loyal Hellhound does not take 20% of the damage that was supposed to be taken by you, right? And it's not nerfed to 10% or anything. It's gone. Yeah, I mean, gets on my nerves big time. So guys, thing is, normally you were taking, let's say, 5,000 damage. 1,000 damage would go to the Loyal Hellhound, and you would take 4,000. Now that doesn't exist. You just take 5,000 in the face. And of course, this reduces the chances of AFK Simulacrum Farmer thingy. There are also several other nerfs that caught my eye. Chronomancer, Stormweaver. Yeah, again, an important nerf. The 1% increased effect of Arcane Surge on you per 15 mana is now per 25 mana. Casual 40% nerf. Oh, everything gets nerfed to hell. And instead of 4% max mana, now you have 12% mana regenerate. There are a ton of changes to the passive tree. I'm guessing existing characters will receive full resets, if not something like it. There are a lot of new clusters. Let me go over it. This is going really very long. Acrobatics has been nerfed to 75% from 70%. This is insane. We are getting nothing while getting only nerfs. Wow, sorry, there is a buff, guys. I'm eating my words here. If you dodge recently, you get 40% evasion rating now instead of 25%. What an extremely important buff. I'm going to build several characters on top of this. No longer 5% mana, but 20%. So those 10,000 mana characters, they are gone, right? But you will see more nerfs. Against the Darkness is nerfed to hell as well. Instead of 10% increased attributes, now we have 7% increased attributes on polymathy. Yeah. Instead of 12% max mana, 8% max mana. Spaghettification has been nerfed as well. Instead of 7% increased attributes, now plus 13 to all attributes. Garbage. Garbage. These characters have hundreds of each attribute, right? Which means this was going to give much more than this. No chance now. Yeah, let's just skip the things. I will complain about stuff as I see them. Many skills have been rebalanced. We'll see. I'm guessing that means everything has been nerfed. Adjusted minion damage and scaling, very important for the AFK Simulacrum Farmer. General damage and life is the same early game, but lower than before at higher levels, especially past Gem level 20. And the point is to get level 40 minions, which is going to be harder as well. We'll see. So they are going to be weaker. Maybe we'll have to pick up some survival nodes because they will die. We'll see how much the nerf is actually. Archmage has been nerfed as well, of course. Armor Breaker has had the armor break amount lowered by roughly 20% at all levels, of course. I wouldn't think any otherwise. Banner skills have been buffed. So guys, every time I see a buff, it's so laughable, right? I would be happier with seeing no buff at all. Okay. Barrage repeats. Blah blah. Blink is not a travel skill, okay. Bomb blast, bomb storm, cast on mini. Cast on shock, of course, guys. One of the popular gems. Of course, we wouldn't be able to live if that wasn't nerfed. Now grants half energy. So it will be twice as hard to trigger. Approximately. Whoa. Combat Frenzy, which is used by monks, and of course maybe some other characters, but monks use it, invokers use it. Now grants a frenzy charge, but no frequent than 5 to 3 to 4.1 seconds at gems level 20. Take a look at this, guys. It started from 250 to 160. Now it's 530 to 4.1. More than 100% nerf. Conductivity has been nerfed, right? Used skill. Direct minions has a cooldown, if you say so. I'm just gonna... Eye of Winter. Well, Eye of Winter is not a really damaging skill, so this doesn't really matter. Can skip it. Flame Loss, Flame Wall. Flash Grenade has more stun build-up. Wow, something has been buffed. Interesting. Frost Bomb has been buffed a little bit. Frost Wall's cooldown has been increased. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna... Green Feast has been disabled. Wow, interesting. Green Feast doesn't exist anymore. They will rework it and come back. Hammer of the Gods has no longer a cooldown. I have played Warrior very recently, so I know. So now the requires 20 glory and you gain glory by heavy stunning. Okay. Herald of Ashes explosion radius has been increased a little bit. Okay. And the quality has been improved with these are nice, of course. Okay, sure. Herald of Isis explosion radius has been nerfed. So guys, this is one nerf I can get behind here. No objection. It was a little too powerful. Hypothermia also has been nerfed. Oh, Leap Slam has more stun build up. I mean, guys, yeah, Warrior definitely needs some love now that I have played it. Lightning Rod Arrow. This is some problem with for Deadeye, I think. Okay, let me go over it. Pain Offering, Perfect Strike. Oh, thank God. Perfect Strike also now deals damage in a wider area close to the player, making it less likely to miss enemies standing next to the player. Thank you. I needed that. I mean, not anymore, but Profane Ritual, Raging Spirits. Yeah, there are, I guess, some buffs. Skeletal Frost Mage's Ice Bomb has an increased cooldown. Yeah, you know, that's the auto thingy. These are too numerous, and the video is becoming an hour. Wind Dancer. Oh God, really? Oh. Oh no. We are not able to gain one more stage on Wind Dancer from college anymore. So it's a nice skill. I have used it quite a few times. Let's go. Support changes. There are some buffs and nerfs. I'm guessing Brutality has been nerfed, sadly. Cannibalism has been nerfed. Oh, the ones I know. Mobility has been nerfed. Magnified effect has been nerfed. Really? Unique item changes. Yeah, take a look at this, guys. Now be prepared to be really, really ticked off. Against the Darkness. Radius has been reduced. So we are able to get less out of it. Doesn't stop there. The item is gonna get nerfed to hell. And intelligence 2 to 4%, strength of 2 to 4%, now it's 2 to 3%, right? And the remaining ones will stay the way they are. And 1% increased life and 1% increase mana, they are gone, right? Now they give 8 flat mana or 8 flat life. Astra Mantis now rolls with 50 to 100 all attributes from 80 to 100 attributes, so of course value has been reduced quite a bit. Atsiri has 10% damage taken bypasses. I don't care about that, right? You have to have some HP, that's what that generally is. Has more mana, but the energy shield has been nerfed to hell, and the similar items will have the same nerf as well. So now instead of 25 to 30% energy shield of gain energy shield to that percentage of life, now it's 10 to 15%, right? Yeah, Quar of the Storm again triggers Lightning Bolt instead of Greater Lightning Bolt. I don't know why they are doing this. Crown of Victor. Dream Fragments has been nerfed to 10% max mana from 20%. Yep. Everlasting Gaze now provides this shield as well. Ghostwrite now provides this shield as well. Hand of Wisdom and Action has been nerfed to hell as well. Now it requires double the intelligence to grant the damage, and now it requires a little bit less dexterity but grants thrice as less increased attack speed. Yeah. Ingenuity has been nerfed to hell as well, of course, you know, guys. All of the popular items are getting hit with the nerf stick, so we can't have Ingenuity remain intact. Now it provides 20 to 30% bonus from left ring and right rings separately. That is to not stack with, I guess, the Hunter's Ascendancy that gives a 3rd ring slot, so you can't get anything. Now has 1 to 2 charm slots, increased charm charges gained, reduced charm charges used. Yeah. I mean, I'm guessing that kind of means it's garbage now. Well, of course, you know, it used to be extremely good. Now it's not bad, I'm guessing. I'm not very sure how good it is now. It's a bit hard to determine. Wow. Last Flame. So guys, the thing that makes drop temporary is damage taken cannot be absorbed. Absorption effects include guard, encased in jade, sorcery ward. So guys, it makes your honor 1 and it does not allow you to absorb damage. So you really have to do a run without taking 1 damage. Mahu shield has been nerfed. 100% increase effect of Sacred Soul Course from 666. Now has the additional property of Everlasting Sacrifice, whatever that is. But 666 getting reduced to 100 is a bit of a problem. Melting Maelstrom does not have recover all mana when used anymore. Alright guys, Warrior Invictus is now a little bit different. Now spawns with 3 modifiers instead of 2. Some of the modifiers have been removed. Increased attributes, increased max mana, max life, and rarity of items have been removed. The spirit thingy has been nerfed. Increased global defenses has been nerfed. Right? I mean, it can still appear the way it was, but you know, it will be less likely. Resistances have been nerfed, and there are some new modifiers available for Warrior Invictus. Oxor no longer provides 50 spirit. This is important for Infernus leveling, guys, because you just put it on and you get some more meanings out of it. No longer anymore. Pillar of the Cage God, of course, has been nerfed as well, and pretty impressively, right? 100% for dexterity and intelligence, and well, 100% for strength as well. So it's doubly worse. Temporalis is now -2 to -1 seconds, from -4 to -2. You know, it was mostly used to make blink without any cooldown, and blink's cooldown can go on level 21. It goes down to 3.4 seconds. So yeah, instant blink is not a thing anymore. Yeah. Okay. Trench Timbre is +1 +2 instead of +1 to +3. Yeah. Yeah. Infernus. I don't think the AFK Simulacrum Farmer exists anymore. Ventor's Gamble has been changed. Time Lost Jewels have been changed. Okay, let's go on. So Perfect Jeweler's Orb can make the item 5 sockets even if it has 2. Wow, huge nerf, huge buff. Sorry, I can save a Greater Jeweler's Orb. Big deal. Advanced and Expert item by base types have different names now. Yeah. Double the rates of runes. So guys, I was hoping this would exist, but I was also afraid that it wouldn't. So you can now do 3 runes of the same type. So there will be now lesser runes. Lesser, normal, and greater. And greater were very hard to obtain, but it appears we can do 3 normal runes into 1 greater. So you know, they would still be worth like 1 exalt at most or so. Double the drop rate of runes, maybe even less. Crossbow damage has been increased. Thorns damage has been buffed, big deal. Rarity amount has been reduced. We can have 60% max now, used to be 62%. Big deal, guys. Breach rings can have a maximum quality of 40% now, from 40%. Okay. Yeah. Time lost jewels with quiver thingies have been nerfed. Yeah, I'm surprised. Oh, Soul Core of Azkapa has now 5% increased count of gold by slain enemies instead of 10% rarity. So me, it's gonna be extremely rare and it's gonna be worthless at the same time. 10% rarity gets changed into 5% quantity. Okay. My head started to hurt, guys, from the number of nerfs. And take a look at this. Now, increased mana percentage on amulets has been lowered. And another important thing about the AFK Simulacrum Farmer, Scepters cannot have +5 minion skills anymore. They can have up to +4. +5 doesn't exist anymore, right? The items in the past will remain, but new ones cannot have +5. Belts, boots, and gloves can roll up to 105 to 124 mana, has been reduced. Helmets, rings, bone scepter. So guys, mana rolls all around the place has been reduced. Wow, the relic modifier that caused the merchant to have 2 to 3 additional options is now fixed. Single additional option. Oh my god. Okay, monster changes. Armor on all monsters has been reduced by 30%. I guess that's good. Yeah, we have gone over these. Zarok's HP was reduced. Bosses that had armor penetration no longer have them. Okay. Monsters have been nerfed as well. Yeah. The Trial Master. Okay. Minions are a little bit stronger, I think. Okay. Heavy Stun priming is a little bit easier. Okay. Destructible pillars in Zaglucium, the Chimera's Arena have had their life increased. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's just skip because the video is going very wild. I just talked too much. Ritual rewards pauses the game. Microtransaction changes. There are tons of bug fixes. I mean, there are some warrior buffs all around. We have been nerfed pretty much. Yeah, there are tons of bugs. That's of course pretty nice. Yeah, that's about it, guys. It was an extremely long video anyway. So let me hear what you think. I am thoroughly annoyed. Yeah, the AFK Simulacrum Farmer, I believe, is no longer a thing. We'll see. The Autobomba is gone. And I'll see you on the stream. Bye-bye.